All right, so welcome. Thank you all for being here today. Today's session is all about how you can streamline your small business with a software called HoneyBook. Now, whether it's your first time hearing of HoneyBook, or maybe if you've actually dipped your toes into the software before, it's really my intention to offer as much value as possible during our time together today. Now, as John and I mentioned, my name is Matthew Erickson, and I'm the founder of Good Brand Partners. Felt kind of weird seeing myself and my video at the same time, so I'm going to turn that off. uh, Good Brand Partners is a full service branding and design studio located in Salem. So, very familiar with the Creative Collective. So, our services range from brand strategy and design to illustration and consulting. We are not media buyers or your typical advertising agency. In fact, we like to say that we're passionate brand builders and visual storytellers whose aim is really to help you build a cohesive brand experience across any touch point. At the end of the day, my goal is pretty simple: to help shape small businesses into mighty good brands. And that all starts with small business owners, or who I like to call independents. Now, as a fellow independent, outside of running the day to day of my own business, I am also a certified HoneyBook Pro and educator, which is, fancy title for I know the software like the back of my hand. I'm also a part of a lot of the beta testing groups and routinely am suggesting feature requests and updates to the backend team. I'm also a pretty big tech nerd, so I could probably talk about this software for hours, or in this case, 60 minutes. I am also a proud member of the Creative Collective, which, I mean, after just seeing that video of the impact that the collective has on our north of Boston community, if you're not already a member, please consider joining. And I'm also a member of the American Institute for Graphic Arts, also known as AIGA. Now, let me turn back my video. There we go. So, after over a decade of experience working throughout the advertising industry as a copywriter, turned designer, turned producer, and online marketer, I've learned a thing or two about the online space and the importance of good branding. And in addition to my full service done for you work, I'm really big on education. The three areas that I love educating folks on are really how to build cohesive brand experiences, number one. The second is how you can develop systems that really keep you streamlined and focused on your end goal. And of course, how you can capitalize on the right tools to up-level your business so that you can ultimately lead a happier and healthier life. Now, I know that's a big mission, but this year in particular, I really am on that mission to help over 100 entrepreneurs and small business owners build a clear, confident, and cohesive brand. And one of the best ways that I know how to do that is to share the love for one of my all time favorite tools, HoneyBook. Now, before we go any further, I do just want to make one thing very clear. HoneyBook is not paying me to be here. I'm not on their payroll. I am really just a big nerd when it comes to streamlining businesses and their brand touch points. It is my goal to really share the magic of this system with you and hopefully give you a glimpse at just how easy it can be to go from stuck or scrambled to totally streamlined. And as a thank you, a special thank you for those who stay until the end, you will receive a special discount code if you're interested in joining HoneyBook. That will be valid for your first year of the program's membership. And I'll also give you some insight about the ways that I could support you after today's call. Quick note, I just attended the HoneyBook Partner Summit on Tuesday. And there were a lot of really big announcements that are or updates that are coming our way. One of the announcements was actually a change in the discount structure that I, as an educator, can offer. And so, in the marketing for today's webinar, there was a mention of a 50% discount. Now, don't worry, you still have the opportunity to snag the best HoneyBook discount on the market. As an educator, they give us the best discounts possible. I'll go into detail at the end of the call, but essentially, HoneyBook rolled out a new 3-tier pricing structure where, in fact, it actually makes it more affordable than before. So everything comes out in the wash, different percentage off, same discount savings. I just wanted to give that as a quick note before we dive in. So, speaking of dive in, our agenda today is pretty simple. First, I want to get a pulse on the types of businesses that are in the room today. Second, I want to walk you through the importance of a client flow and how you can improve your own. Some of the reasons why I actually use HoneyBook, how I got started, why I'm still using the software. I'll also walk you through the entire HoneyBook software, which is a big ask, but I'm committed to doing it. Plus the latest and greatest tool, Smart Files. That will also lead us into how HoneyBook can partner with you in your own journey of fine tuning your process. And then we'll also reserve some time at the end for a very interactive Q&A. And of course, be sure to stay to the end to get that discount and free trial off of HoneyBook. Okay, so I would love to get a pulse on the group. So in the chat, please comment with two things. One, your business industry, such as photography, design, events, fine art, plus one word to describe how you're feeling today. So in the chat, please comment with your business industry. For me, that would be design, and one word that describes how you're feeling today. I'm feeling pretty pumped and excited. I don't know about any of you. So I would love to be able to get some context of who's in the room. So if possible, I would love to see who's here. Let's not be shy. Okay, cool. So development, events, and marketing. And Katie is jazzed. I love that. I love that. The good news is that HoneyBook really does span across so many industries. It actually was created originally for folks in the event planning business. So you are in the right place, Katie. Health and wellness coaching, Fatima, feeling hope filled. I was first going to read that as hopeful, but I now see hope filled, and I love that. I'm so glad you're here. Photography and busy. Yes, busy, busy time. I'm sure, Dana. Shay is in real estate, and they are feeling mellow. I think that's a great, way to be. And then 360 photography, treading water. Who else as an independent here can feel like they are treading water? Okay, let me not get distracted down this rabbit hole. Thank you so much for sharing. And it's clear that this is a diverse group of folks in here. We have photography, a couple folks in the photography, digital space, real estate. And one of the first questions that folks usually ask me is, who is HoneyBook for? Now, kind of feels like a loaded question, but it is pretty simple. It's really for anybody who's a service-based business. So if you have clients, you can use HoneyBook. Let me give some examples. So really, whatever you do in your service-based business, HoneyBook will give you all the tools you need to get it done, and get it done in whatever client flow best serves you and the way you do business. So I know there's some photographers in the room, some consultants, folks in events and marketing, coaches. You are all in the right place, and I'm so excited to dive in. So, because you're here, I'm going to make a pretty big assumption and say that you probably love what you do. Now, you also most likely value serving clients and creating great experiences for those clients from start to finish. What you may not love are all the mundane tasks of running your business: creating proposals, sending invoices, following up on leads, scheduling meetings, sending reminders for those meetings, or worse, the ping pong follow up of chasing payments. These are obviously not the reasons why you started your business, nor should it take up most of your valuable time. So, did you know that independents, right, small business owners, spend more than 70% of their time on these exact mundane tasks, and less than 30% of their valuable time actually doing what you enjoy doing, what you're good at, the reason why you went into business in the first place? That's Pretty shocking. But when I saw that stat, I was like, yeah, that was me. Totally. I hear it. I feel it. Now, we all know that being an independent takes drive and talent and creativity and, of course, confidence. But the reality is that building a business you're proud of can oftentimes feel scary, stressful, demanding, complex, and like a lot of hard work. In fact, it often feels harder than it has to be. Now, what's the solution to working smarter and not harder? Well, it takes some dedication, but it also takes a solid client experience and workflow. Or as we in the I'm coming up with this on the spot. The HoneyBook verse, wink, wink to Marvel and the metaverse, what we call a client flow. Now, you've heard me use this term a couple times thus far, so I just want to walk you through the concept of what a client flow is. So, a client flow is how you sell and deliver your services. And it really is the best way I know as a business owner, as an independent, to avoid overwhelm, stay inspired, focused, passionate, and of course, organized. So before we dive into the specifics of what HoneyBook can do and the full software walkthrough, I first want to take a step back and workshop this concept of a client flow so you can assess where you're at in your business and maybe where you may be able to improve or streamline your process. So, this concept of a client flow all starts with holistically thinking about your own unique process and client journey. Your client flow should consider all of the steps that your clients take, as well as the internal workflows you use behind the scenes to actually make it happen. Now, a client flow, fancy little term, is not about reinventing the wheel. In fact, you probably already have a client flow in place. But the more that we could identify what that process is or what it looks like for your business, the more likely you can fine tune it and improve or streamline your business. And that's really where you'll find HoneyBook is able to come into play by helping to illuminate your process so you can start to master it with your clients and exceed expectations. Okay, so let's walk through the anatomy of a client flow. So typically, a client flow includes a couple different phases. And I know not everything is linear in life, but sometimes visually it's easier to look at it that way. So, the first phase of a client flow typically is all about mutual qualification. This is when both you and the client are deciding if you're a good fit. This is where questions are asked, answers are given, expectations are hopefully aligned. The next phase in a client flow is the booking process, right? The actual point when folks either service select, they're looking at invoices, they're signing contracts, and of course, ultimately making an investment in you and the service that you provide. The third phase in a client flow is ultimately the biggest, and outside of actually getting paid for your work and having legal contracts to protect you and your clients, uh, this next and third phase is ultimately the most important because it's really where you're delivering your magic, right? So it's the project management uh, phase of the client flow. This is really that biggest piece that is going to be able to change from business to business. So this is where HoneyBook really does a nice job at allowing you to customize your client flow based on if you're a health and wellness coach, if you're in development, events, marketing, photography, etc. Right? The project management phase is the point in your process where you're actually getting down to the work and doing what you love. It typically does involve some sort of onboarding and carries you all the way through that final deliverable. Speaking of final, the fourth and final phase of the client flow process is typically one of completion, right? You did it. You did the thing that you set out to do with your client. Now, what that looks like is usually some form of offboarding those clients, asking those clients for reviews, maybe a renewal if you're working with folks month to month, or even some sort of an upsell or a friendly check in, right? So, this big picture is the concept of a client flow and really what inspired HoneyBook's creators to actually solve the problem of, well, how do we bring this into the digital world and how can we streamline all of these steps into a process that's filled with flow? Now, when we're thinking about your own unique client flow, right, your process, your journey, there are three questions that I want you to think about to really help you get started. The first would be, where are things slipping through the cracks? Now, I know it seems weird to like lead with a negative in a question, right? Especially when it comes to analyzing your business. But sometimes we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, where are things slipping through the cracks, right? Perhaps you often find yourself too focused on work, right? Actually doing the thing, and rightfully so. That by the end of the day, the last thing you want to do is to reply to a bunch of inquiries that have come in and say essentially the same thing over and over again. But in the age of instant gratification, decision making, hours do in fact matter, not to mention days, right? Now, if you're also ever feeling generally scattered or disorganized, or that dreaded feeling of like, oh, maybe I'm forgetting something, right? That's a good sign that it might be the right time to consolidate, right? And so, a solution for when things feel like they're slipping through the cracks is to get a system in place to really create a safety net with one true source of flow. The second question I want you to consider when thinking about your own unique client flow is, where are you currently involved in the process but don't need to be? I'm going to say it again because it sounds counterintuitive as a service based business, but where are you currently involved but don't need to be? Now, one area where this happens a lot, regardless of what industry you're in, is during the inquiry stage, right? Are you sitting down and reinventing the wheel for every single client and treating them as their own? They are their own unique individual, but in your process, this thing that you're so good at delivering, are you treating them too much like a unique situation as opposed to a repeatable process that you're actually good at, right? Because when you're able to master your process, there is a level of predictability that allows you to plan ahead for a lot of these interactions that feel repetitive, so you don't have to come up with everything from scratch every single time. Another example of where this happens a lot is inside of scheduling, right? If you're playing that email ping pong with your clients, it's probably a good sign that you need a scheduling tool. But what do you do after you actually schedule a call, right? It may not feel like much, but all of these little moments do really add up to hours, days, and even weeks that you're probably not paying yourself for, right? You're stressing yourself out, and you're really not working towards that clear, confident brand that you so desire. The solution for if you're currently involved but don't really need to be in every single aspect is to find ways to replace your manual effort with just a little bit of personalized automation where it feels appropriate. And the third and final question I want you to think about is, how effortless is your booking process currently? Now, don't just think about it from your perspective, but I really want you to sit in your own client's shoes for a minute and go through that booking process, right? And first recognize that the booking process actually begins the moment your client has decided that you're potentially the right person to book the job, right? So, how easy are you making it for them to book in that precise moment? How easy are you making it to proactively get them access to submitting that first payment, right? Is it pain free as checking out when you're, online shopping? Um, because really the last thing you want to do is to make it difficult for a client to book you, pay you, actually say yes to the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Now, I know that may feel like a lot to unpack, but rest assured, a solution to all three of these questions does exist. So, We're going to come out of that imaginary stage right there. And I want to know who's excited to learn all the details about HoneyBook, walk through the entire process, get a little behind the scenes look at how this can actually improve your business. Drop a one inside of the chat so that I know you are ready to move forward. I'm not going to move forward until I see at least one in the comment. Okay, I saw the first one. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so what is HoneyBook? As I said, HoneyBook is a client flow platform that lets you manage clients friction free. We like to say from hey to pay. My fiance told him that the other day, and I think he just rolled his eyes at me. So hopefully you laughed along with me from that. So HoneyBook is great because it really has everything in one place so that you're able to manage leads, send contracts, and get paid fast. But that is just the beginning. HoneyBook really is mission control for your business. Why? Well, it streamlines everything so you can manage it all at once or whenever you need to step in. Through interactive client experiences that you can sell your services in, get booked, and simplify your workflow. HoneyBook is really great at helping you service your clients more effectively through on-branded touchpoints and interactive experiences. So as a brand designer, I personally love HoneyBook because it truly allows me and my clients to showcase their brand throughout every client interaction via a sleek and modern interface. That means that your proposals, your contracts, and your invoices are all customizable with your own brand style, logo, color palette, which can dramatically help you stand out and ensure that you're set up to easily scale your offerings as you grow. Now, remember that pesky 70-30 statistic from earlier? I'm going to show you another one that's a little bit more positive. So, HoneyBook did a study, and they found that out of all the users inside of the platform, which I believe now in 2023 there's over at least 100,000 business owners on the platform, HoneyBook gives you more time to actually focus on your passion. We kind of flip flopped and actually increased the percentage a little bit. Now 80% being creative, which means you're able to spend less time on the back end of your business and more time doing what you love, which is my mission in business. And I'm sure it is for you too. So, speaking of myself, I don't know about you, but 3 years ago, when I started my independent business after being laid off my full time role in marketing due to the pandemic, I was scrambling to get everything together. Right? Don't get me wrong, I'm a pretty organized individual, but when it comes to balancing the creative work that I love so much and the business admin that really sucks up a lot of time, I knew I needed a change or I would not be able to make it past like month two, right? Or at least I wouldn't be able to do it in a way that, honors my mental health, gives me, balance from day to day, and really allows me to still serve my clients in a way that they and I both deserve, right? Or at the very least, a way to go paperless. Now, before using HoneyBook, this was my reality, and I'm sure that a lot of these aspects of your business are true, right? Are you creating PDF invoices from InDesign or another separate, design software? Are you emailing it to them and asking folks to, sign a PDF only for them to like, digitally sign something, scale it, or worse, like mail it to you? That back end ping pong of the scheduling, getting lost in your inbox, the list goes on. You get it. Now, after and finally actually using HoneyBook, I was really able to create this like all-in-one base camp for my business from initial inquiry all the way through a testimonial request or even like a 6-month check-in with a client. Now, there are 5 specific reasons that I love HoneyBook, and I'm going to share them with you right now. So number 1, HoneyBook basically helps you from switching tools every single task and be more efficient. What does that mean? Well, I'm able to manage all of my important documents, payments, and client communication inside of HoneyBook. You actually have a shared client workspace with each individual client, which keeps everybody that's involved on the same page. And those workspaces allow us to easily access all project details, documents, invoices, payments, contracts, emails, and client info in one place. I love the fact that I get to see red receipts on proposals and emails, invoices, and how many pages in the contract they've actually looked, right? I also am able to see where each client and project stands within my own customized pipeline. So number one, helps me stay organized tenfold. Number two, HoneyBook gives your clients an easy and delightful booking process from start to finish that truly reflects your quality of services from that first initial inquiry all the way through hiring you again for another project. Some of my favorite features of HoneyBook are that clients can easily sign contracts and pay those invoices online in one simple step. I can even reply to customers pretty fast within um, my mobile device because they have a really great online app. I can also send emails and get a pulse on my clients with custom reminders, red receipts, and more. Number three, you're able to save time and truly scale your business without losing that personal touch that got you to where you are in the first place, right? I've grown to use some automation tools that really take the repetitive steps off my plate while also maintaining control for where I want to step back in. The way I do that is by using workflows to automatically send emails and files while still having the ability to jump in, make last minute changes or edits just to make sure I can tie it up with a nice little bow. Right? Plus, there's the automated payment reminders, so you don't even have to do that awkward. I don't know if you've heard the audio on Instagram. It's like, hey, how y'all doing? Check-in style for your payments. Um, you can actually just see where they are and hopefully move them down your pipeline. Four, HoneyBook lets you put your brand first. Again, brand designer, I love this, so that you can really showcase what makes your business unique in every interaction. They have tons of pre-made templates that allow you to just get up and moving. That you can quickly customize with the click of a button via the company themes. You can upload and use your own fonts and logos across every single type of document throughout your client portal. And all client-facing documents are customizable to you and your business, so you can do as much or as little as you want. And finally, number five, HoneyBook allows you to make better business decisions. It truly feels like I have a virtual assistant on my team, right? The HoneyBook lead source, for an example, the lead source report not only shows you where leads are coming in from, but it also breaks down which lead sources have higher conversion rates, so you know where you may want to put more of your time, efforts, or marketing dollars. You can also keep an eye on your annual and monthly revenue, so you know what to expect each month and can decide when it's appropriate to make a bigger purchase. And speaking of payments, you can also see any outstanding payments, which can help benchmark your bank account. Okay, so enough talking about it, Matthew. Let's actually pull back the curtain and walk through this puppy together. Okay, so remember the client flow questions that I asked you to think about. Where are the cracks in your business? Where are you currently involved but don't need to be? How effortless is booking? Well, HoneyBook will automatically, by nature, solve a lot of these problems, right? By giving you that visibility into your process, right? Which allows you to master said process and fine tune it and take control of your business like never before. And it all starts with the tools that help you do just that. The first tool is lead capture and pipeline management. Now, on the left-hand side right here, this is a glimpse at the HoneyBook contact form, which will act as a catch-all for lead capture, right? The cool thing is that you can replace the form on your website, whether it's Squarespace, Wix, what have you, actually embed this same form, right? Or even before you have a website, if you're new to business, just starting out, you can share this as a standalone link on your social channels or anywhere else that your leads come in. Think link in bio for Instagram or your link tree. Now, once your client fills this contact form out, your leads are automatically funneled into the HoneyBook pipeline, which for a small business owner is super helpful. So for me, I get inquiries from all different places: my email, my website, and of course, social media. That used to be a lot to manage, bouncing back and forth between DMs and my email and everything else. But HoneyBook has made it so much easier because I've been able to customize my contact form, brand it so that I could add it to my website. Visually, it looks like it's just my regular form on my website. Also, link it to my social profiles. That way, before even communicating with someone, I can get the answers I need before a discovery call up front. And they're automatically loaded into a nice, clean, easy to use workspace with all the client's information. Pretty cool. The second is oh, I just froze for a second. There we go. The HoneyBook pipeline. So it's such a simple feature, but it truly was a moment for me. Um, the HoneyBook pipeline really allows you to keep track of all of your projects with automatic job tracking, aka that personal command center. Now, there's no legwork in tracking who's who, what part of the pipeline are they in, which really gives you a solid bird's eye view of everything that's going on, right? It consolidates everything into one place so you stay organized. You can see how many active projects do I have, who needs a follow up, do I have any upcoming meetings, who has seen a proposal but they haven't actually signed, who am I already starting to plan with, right? The really cool thing is that you can manage each stage and customize this pipeline from inquiry to testimonial and everything in between. Okay, workspaces. Workspace organization is critical, and HoneyBook makes it super easy to organize your workspace. Here's a glimpse at an actual workspace, which allows you to independently stay on top of all of that client communication and files per client. Notice there's the little activity feed here. Think of it as your home base for all the essentials. It also doubles, which is really cool, as a client-facing portal, acting as a hub of information that clients can refer back to for past documents and conversations you may have exchanged. So no more, sifting through loose emails for attachments and PDFs. It all lives inside of the platform. Workspaces allow you to stay super efficient across the board. And personally, I have all these different templates set up, such as email and files, so that I can respond in minutes, and also set up automation tools to ensure that clients get the info they need at the right time. Okay, so taking a little bit of a deeper look here, this is a sample email message inside of the activity feed, right? I can see that they've actually read the message, what files they've looked at. The previous step underneath says that Lorenzo signed the proposal. On the right-hand side, there's a handful of information that's only visible to you, such as project statuses within the pipeline, time tracking should you choose to use those features, task management, any upcoming calls that you have, Zoom calls, or any automations that you've applied to the software. And of course, as I mentioned, you can keep all of those invoices and contracts, or really any other important files or PDFs, images, organized in one place that's accessible from anywhere to both you and your clients. The cool thing is that it can show you, for example, within the proposal, $5,000, I'm going to make up that the first payment was $2,500, 50-50 split, right? I can tell that someone viewed a brochure that was sent. And then underneath it, you can see there's some PDF files that may have been attachments that a client had sent back to you as reference. Maybe you've included some images back and forth, planning a mood board for a design that you're creating. I love that I'm able to see the client actions in progress, and it really helps me really have a level of peace of mind when I'm interacting with clients, right? There's really no guesswork of did you see it, did you not? HoneyBook takes the guesswork out of it. Plus, there's that no getting lost in the text, email, chat jungle, thanks to the feed that stores all of this for you. Now, this I'm such a nerd about, and you may roll your eyes, but these are all of this is a window into my email templates. On the right-hand side, I actually organize things with numbers and letters, and yes, even emojis. But it is my proven system to actually streamline your client communication with custom email templates so that you can say farewell to inquiry overwhelm and hello to a happy and up-to-date client experience. And HoneyBook's email capabilities allow you to quick apply responses with auto personalization, schedule send for a different time, just in case you're burning that midnight oil, and really streamline your client communication. And the cool thing as well is that it can integrate with, for example, I use Gmail and it integrates with Gmail. So I could be replying, maybe I'm inside of my Google account. I see a message come in, I reply through that. It will double into HoneyBook. So if I ever were to delete any of the emails in Gmail, how many times can I say email or Gmail? It will double over as sort of a paper trail inside of HoneyBook. So you'll never worry about coming back, or proving that you said something or didn't say something. You'll really be protected through HoneyBook. Okay, the really fun and exciting thing. Say hello to the only proposal you'll ever need, or one of many that you may create. Uh, Invoices, contracts, and payments are now together at last. No more PDF this, DocuSign that, PayPal link lost in the shuffle or in a text DM, right? Which equals a seamless experience for your clients and more. Can't believe I wrote this as a note. Cha-chings for you. Um, Honestly, the design and functionality within proposals and templates is really game changing, and it really can be what sets you apart and even change the way that you do and communicate about your business. Now, this video here is essentially a glimpse into the HoneyBook template gallery, which is a great place to look for inspiration. Um, Maybe inspiration from a process perspective, right? To maybe see how others are combining steps and actions into their client flows that could inspire you to streamline your own client interactions. Or even from a design perspective, right? To inspire you on different layout and formatting options so you don't have to start from scratch. Styles that you want to do more of, things you wouldn't do yourself, but it's good to see. I even have a quick pro tip for you, to really not underestimate the power of templates. As someone who has created hundreds of templates for myself and clients across emails, brochures, proposals, etc., templates can really save everyone time because they already have all the details you need to get started, right? So as someone submits a contact form, their information is now pulled. They have my name. If let's say I'm a wedding photographer, I can book uh, uh, or say that the date of our wedding is June 10th. It actually is, but we're coming up on time within my wedding. So June 10th is coming up. Here's the location, all that information that will auto be populated into the contract. My name and billing information already, well, not billing, I'd have to manually put that in, but my name and contact information into the invoice, really streaming up uh, uh, a lot of the process for you. And templates are a great way to get started. And as I mentioned, you can add your brand to everything. So if you start with a template and you're not really crazy with the color, you can literally change everything to fit you and your business. So this is arguably one of the most important facets of HoneyBook, and it's really where HoneyBook got started uh, years ago. I have some colleagues that have been using the software since 2010 and 2011. So the software has been around for a while, and these are the core functionalities: being able to manage your bookings, contracts, and of course receive payments. Now, HoneyBook really is a one-stop shop, and they they mean it. Clients can review agreements and contracts, sign and pay in one place in one experience, right? And you can effortlessly track all of that in real time. So for contracts, um, you know, HoneyBook allows you to feel protected within their legally binding online contracts. They do have some basic independent contractor templates that you could start with or upload your own. Big caveat: definitely encourage you to seek out legal advice regarding your contracts, but they're super easy to upload, and then you can start customizing with these personalizations and these smart fields that really allow you to speed up the contract process for every single client that you serve, no matter how unique their situation. And if you need to go in and quickly edit something, you totally can, right? Now, payments on HoneyBook, uh, HoneyBook accepts credit card, um, wire transfer, or bank transfer. It also accepts cash or check. The last two you would just have to receive however you want to, and then mark it as paid in the system. But it really gives clients a frictionless payment experience so that you can get paid faster, right? So your client can sign the contract, make the retainer payment, that deposit all in one place. And then from there, we'll go into a little bit, uh, get automated reminders to ensure the client makes their future payments on time. And they can also pay from any device, which is super helpful. So after you've paid, right? Maybe they've invested with you. You actually want to have your kickoff or actually do the thing, start the conversation. HoneyBook helps eliminate that back and forth and lets you stop being involved where you don't need to be. Right back to that one of those three questions. Um, there really is no need to still have like a Calendly or Acuity. If you still like those softwares, you can connect, for example, Calendly. However, within the HoneyBook software subscription, they have their own native scheduler that lives right inside of HoneyBook, and it operates very similarly to both Calendly and Acuity. So automations, I just gave a little peek to that. Automations allow you to really give a hands-on service, even when you are off the clock on vacation. It's past 5. You're drinking pina coladas on the beach. Inside of HoneyBook, you can queue up sequences of messages, files, and tasks so that you can really play by your rules and send them when the time is right. Kind of looks similar to if you've ever built out a email sequence and things like MailChimp, right? And this is really going to help you maintain those personalized communications without having these like unique touch points or reinventing the wheel for every single client. Again, for those repeatable instances in your business. We're not trying to replace human interaction or actually responding to someone. It's about lifting your foot off the pedal a little bit, turning on that cruise control where you're able to, and if need be, hopping right in to address specific questions. As I mentioned, you can set up automations to trigger the send of emails or files, or simply remind yourself that you need to do something, and it will add a little task into that workspace. You can also set up things called approve before sending so that nothing slips through the cracks before it's meant to actually be sent, right? Maybe there's something that you want to set up uh, inside of your workflow, but before it actually sends a contract, you want to be able to go in there and manually edit it and customize it per that unique client. You can totally do that. I personally use workflow automations to send responses to new inquiries with a link to book a call with me. Simple as that. Someone submits a form, they get an auto response back to me, and they can book a call to chat and connect, right? And then I can also set reminders for myself throughout the project, depending on my own unique client flow, which really does reduce the administrative work, but also allows you to keep control where you want. So you're able to really give your clients the best possible experience. Now, all of those things are housed inside of the HoneyBook dashboard, which combines all of the most important parts of your business, many of which we did just walk through. That way, you can always keep a bird's eye view on your business from lead inquiries, right? So, left hand side under projects, lead inquiries, I could see that I have 5 new inquiries. What's an inquiry? An inquiry is just an action that initiated or created that workspace, either a contact form submission or a schedule call, or if you manually created something inside of HoneyBook. Project who's an activity, who's signed, who's paid, who sent a message, real-time project updates, upcoming payments, maybe a couple payments that remain in the past week, so you can always stay on top of that bookkeeping, calendar reminders, tasks, reporting. The list is not endless, but it is so robust that it really helps, again, keep that bird's eye view on your business. As I'd mentioned briefly, there is also a great phone app so that you can really stay in the know and on the go. You can use the app to get notifications, send follow-ups and files, just like inside of the desktop or laptop version. Check off tasks and even keep an eye on your calendar. Now, my favorite part about HoneyBook has to be smart files. Now, remember when we walked through the proposals and template slides a few pages back? It was like a GIF that was like flipping through different colors. Well, those were actually what HoneyBook calls smart files. So you see, in yesterday's world, Your process, our process as an independent, right, was defined by relatively rigid and predefined functions or formats of files, PDF, a DocuSign, a link payment, things of that nature. And even HoneyBook was guilty early on. They kind of segmented things, right? Files could do one, maybe two things max. But now with HoneyBook and the introduction of smart files, you can combine a handful of steps into one single client experience. So let's compare this like old way of thinking versus HoneyBook's new way of thinking through smart files, right? So the old way, this like rigid, file example, would be those invoice PDFs, that PayPal link, a contract that needs to be scanned and sent back to you. The new smart files are really totally customizable, simple, and all-in-one multi-page experiences. Let's take an example of a invoice, which is a simple one-page document with bill to info, an itemized list of what the client is receiving, maybe a payment schedule, and if you're using an invoicing tool, maybe the ability to pay. But when we think critically about our workflow that you've been brainstorming about, maybe you also want to collect signature once they've paid the deposit, and maybe you want to kick off that onboarding process with a questionnaire and the ability to schedule that kickoff call. Well, that's what smart files can do for you. They can do everything all in one document or a single client interaction. That way you're able to actually define your process. So think about it this way. A smart file is simply a file defined by what you determine it needs to be. No more, no less. It could be one thing like an invoice or a multi-page experience, right? Proposals times 100. So what can smart files actually do? Well, the best part about smart files is that they truly are 100% customizable, just like the rest of the software. And building a smart file is as easy as you want it to be. All you have to do is add your branding. As I mentioned, HoneyBook makes it super easy to apply company themes and really match your brand across different dimensions and aspect ratios and functionalities. And of course, replace any text or images based on the info that you want to put out there. And at the end of the day, smart files are really what allow you to, again, work smarter and not harder. So the way that I look at it, smart files help bring your client flow to life, helping you to provide top-notch experiences across each phase of your client's journey. Right? So from the showcase phase, right, of being able to reply to inquiries and bring in new clients with templates that sell your services, all the way through that booking process where you actually make things official with proposals, contracts, invoices, you get the picture. All the way through that management of your project itself, organizing that client communication back and forth, scheduling the meetings all in app, and tracking deliverables in each phase of the project. And of course, even requesting feedback, reviews, ratings, or trying to upsell somebody after you finished work together. Now, as a branding guy, right, smart files make me super giddy, especially for some of my clients who are just starting out and don't even have a full website yet. Smart files really can make it easy for every level of independent to communicate their value and inspire their clients to take action. Now, a quick note that sometimes often causes a little bit of confusion. Folks ask, are smart files and automations the same thing? And the answer is no. And thank goodness for that. It does take two to tango. So let's look at what each of these important HoneyBook features offer. So again, a smart file is really just one, right? It's a combination of multiple steps into one single seamless experience or interaction with clients, right? It's a file that they open up, they can navigate through the pages, they can make a payment, schedule, again, multiple steps in one. Whereas an automation focuses more so on the separate steps, right? Those multiple interactions that you have with your clients across a span of your working relationship together, from start to finish, from onboard to offboard, and everything in between. Now, here's a sneak peek at how you can actually build smart files. Now, I promise you, if you've ever used Squarespace, Wix, Canva, or any other drag and drop design software, this will be a no-brainer. Of course, like everything, there's always that quick learning curve when you're diving into a new platform, but they really do make it pretty simple. The three things to honestly remember about Smart Files are that there are templates, there are pages, and there are blocks. So templates is the bigger overarching thing that you're producing, right? Sign off for design proof. Maybe it's a coaching brochure, or maybe your photography portfolio, or a list of 360 virtual services that you want folks to select. Once you're inside of that, you're able to fully customize the pages to fit your business and how you want to communicate about it. Do you want to give people a little bit more insight into who you are and what you do? Maybe your own unique process, right? How you can help them specifically. Again, maybe there's a brochure and then a link to get to actually book your call on the final page, right? Now, editing the page is very drag and drop. Once you're inside the page, at the bottom here under blocks, you'll see there's like a purplish blue border here and a little gear icon. It's very click drag. You can copy and paste using your keyboard. You can add in images and video, and there's so much that Smart Files can allow you to do. So let's take a look at a few of them right now. So questions and forms, right? So like a questionnaire, which is great for collecting information at any stage, not just the initial contact form, but feedback on designs, maybe qualifying your leads after they've submitted that inquiry form even further, getting feedback during an offboarding session that you could turn into a testimonial or review. You can also upload video, which is great for welcoming clients. Not saying that you would send a personalized video every single time, but as online businesses or a service-based business, it's so important to make that one-on-one connection. So why not throw in like a 30-second video of, hey, it's Matthew. I'm so excited to work with you. I have a big passion for XYZ, and so on and so forth, right? Explaining your services, showcasing happy clients, or actually, what if you included reviews, right, of past clients in that brochure? Something that you couldn't really do in a standalone PDF. Invoicing as well. But more than that, and the really cool thing that I love is service selection. I personally, in my business, don't use it a ton. I only really use it when I'm someone seeking some coaching or strategy sessions from me. But service selection is great for those more interactive proposals. Maybe if you have more of a productized service-based business, right? These like dynamic quotes, which really allow clients who are ready to move forward for the ability to select the services that they want. It will auto-generate the invoice and auto-generate the contract thereafter, which is pretty cool. Of course, contracts and e-signatures, and then the ability to have the scheduler block actually inside of the Smart File is fairly new. So you're coming into the HoneyBook world at a really good and exciting time. Now, before we wrap things up, let's jump back to the template gallery to really get a sense of how all of these tools come together. So as I mentioned, the template gallery houses just under, I believe last time I checked, it's like 100 templates to kickstart your client flow build process. The cool thing is that you can search templates based on the functionality you're looking to achieve. So let's say you started HoneyBook next week and you were like, all I need is to figure out how to produce an invoice. You can search by invoices and we'll pull up the templates that include invoices as a step in that process. Now, maybe you thought you just wanted invoices. That's all you were focused on right out of the gate. But then you saw something like, it's a little blurry, but the one that we see right here, it's like the desk with the flowers and the lamp. It says template name. And it shows contract, invoice and pay, and services. So because you said you wanted to look at something with an invoice, it also showed you templates that did include those multi-step functionality, right? Because again, Smart Files house multiple steps into one file. So maybe you thought you needed one thing, but you were able to find a different template that would better serve you and your clients. You can also sort by industry-specific templates. So I know there are some photographers in the room, some coaches, others that are in the photo video world. You can also search by industry. Now, I'm not saying that everything's going to be pixel perfect to what you want, but it will at least give you an understanding of how other folks are using the software and how you can customize it to, again, serve you and your goals. At the end of the day, smart files truly allow you to create that seamless, hands off booking experiences so that you can get back to getting more clients, being on more sales calls, actually doing the thing that you love to do. It gives, or it empowers rather, your clients to service select and add on opportunities to work with you. You can double back and get some proofing documents and sign offs within the platform. I mean, the video capabilities inside the smart file itself had me going through so many different brainstorms of where I could uh, bring my own love for being, on camera and client interactions into that initial interaction, just based off of a simple form fill, right? All the way through thanking somebody at the end of a project. And again, of course, all the way through testimonial requests and offboarding files. Smart files really help you to create a one of a kind experience. Now, not to mention the power of combining the two things that I said that were different, right? Smart files with the automations. Here's an actual screenshot of my own um, offboarding sequence. So let's say you were a client of mine. We just hung up on our final review call. Everything went well. I'm definitely going to ask this person for a testimonial. What I can do in that moment inside of the workspace is, if you can imagine it for a second, go to the bottom right hand side where it was like the invisible column of things you can do inside the workspace. Click on automation, apply offboarding. Literally 2 clicks. And now, a week from the day that I activated it, my client will get a testimonial request email. 4 weeks after that will be a nice friendly check-in. 1 month later, I think it's like, so it's 3 months after that, it's a check-in again, see how things are going, inviting them to connect with me on social media if they haven't already. And then even a 6 month, or I've even had some folks in like wedding industry or things that are a little bit more tied to specific dates, reach out 6 months or a year to just check back in with folks and see how things are going, right? How many times have you been able to re-engage a client and actually see business come back through your pipeline? Why not have that be an automated process that you actually don't need to be a part of, right? You could also, to give you an inverse example, have all of these emails as templates, which I do. That's why they're able to be brought into the automation, and just manually send them for whenever I want to check back in with folks. So, two different ways of being able to achieve the same outcome, just dependent on how much you want to actually edit or customize per that workflow. If there's one thing I want to leave you with today, it's that HoneyBook gives you autonomy, right? The power of choice. You, as the independent, as the business owner, the professional in your field, you get to tell the system what your own unique client flow is, not the other way around. HoneyBook allows you to combine steps where you need to, hold space in other places, so that you're only involved at precisely the moments that you need to be. Not a minute less and not a minute more. That means that you are going to be spending less time worrying about the look, feel, and back end of your business and more time doing what you love. If that sounds like a dream come true, please drop a yes or a one or something in the comments to let me know uh, that this aligns with where you want to take you and your business. And with that, I just want to say a big thank you for showing up today, not just to hear me speak, but to really show up for yourself and your business and your future clients who truly deserve the best client experience possible. They deserve it, and you also deserve it a little bit more.